Now, whenever you think about the Jedi, you think of a completely pure and good organization, right? And when I started to do research for this video, I thought that the Jedi would be shielded from all criticism thanks to the almighty power of Disney. But it turns out that's wrong. Just really, really, really wrong. Hey everyone, what's up? Subscribe, like, and make sure to hit the bell icon so you can get notified. Enjoy the video. Now, as always, we will begin with the factions generally recognized for, and in this case, that would be the pros. So let's get started. The Jedi had a lot of good ideals, and at its heart, the Order wanted to bring peace and justice to the galaxy. They hunted down dangerous criminals and helped cool off disputes between planets to make sure the tensions never got very high. Ironically, the one time they actually needed to stop tensions, they failed. Miserably. And a rebellion broke out. And when the mystery army of clones suddenly came around, they decided not to look into their background at all, and they were actually surprised to be betrayed by the clones during Order 66. Let this be a lesson, kids. Don't take mysterious clone armies from untrustworthy Kaminoans. Seriously, those guys are the worst. All jokes aside, if the Jedi weren't there, rebellion would have erupted several times in most of the mid and outer rim sectors, so they did have a significant impact on helping to keep the peace in the galaxy. The Jedi were in fact keepers of the peace, and we know several Jedi would go to other worlds to fend off pirates and other sorts of shady types, defending those that cannot defend themselves. And in some instances, they act as police and security for people of political importance, such as those in the Senate or even the Chancellor of the Republic. The Jedi promoted learning and knowledge throughout the galaxy. It's literally part of the Jedi Code. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. So we know they went around the galaxy giving people knowledge and spreading learning and thinking across the galaxy. I would say that's a pretty good pro. The Jedi would also often help refugees and people in less rich worlds by offering free, or near free, education to children and even adults if they needed it. Sometimes they would even provide medical care to those who needed it, although sometimes parents would carefully avoid having blood tests taken on their children. More on that later. The Jedi would also lead efforts to go and help worlds after natural disasters, or if the planet was just a terrible place to live. I'm looking at you, Tatooine. Often they would supply technology and food to help the locals. We already know this from the movies because they constantly cram it in our heads, but the Jedi are supposed to show compassion to all, which is kind of a paradox to me because they can't form attachments. Anyway, the Jedi show compassion to all, helping them in any way they can, they will. Well, in most cases. They sometimes forget to free certain mothers from kidnappers and cause the downfall of their own order, but it's not my place. Oh. I'm sorry, wait. Yeah, it is my place to judge them for the bad things they've done. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the cons of the Jedi Order. Now, the Jedi have a surprising amount of flaws I was not even aware of before I started making this. I was actually surprised that my cons list was longer than my pros list, and a lot of it could have easily been avoided if they did the littlest of research in child protection laws, child psychology, and war crimes. The parents in the Star Wars universe are probably pretty scared of the Jedi if they have a Force-sensitive 3-year-old, which is the average age Jedi recruit at. Because if their child is Force-sensitive, both the parent and the child will have to deal with the emotional struggle that is separation from a 3-year-old and their parent, which can be psychologically damaging to the child and even the parents. Even if they're older, it can cause problems. Who does that remind me of? This separation can lead to the child being distressed constantly, having fear and panic, feeling depressed, and the constant sting of hopelessness, that is no guardian to protect or care for them. And no, it will not be the same for the Jedi to take on the parental role, because if the Jedi do not allow attachments, they cannot give the child the emotional support of developing mind needs. And we know the Jedi take kids because we see it in the Clone Wars and in the prequel trilogy. The Jedi will take the young of parents for their own order, and I don't know about you, but that steps out of moral boundaries in my book. Allowing no attachment is a serious violation of rights. I mean, having attachment is part of human nature, and probably alien nature too, I think. To deprive someone of that is to take away some of themselves, take away what makes them human and empathetic, or I guess whatever species they are. Maybe. You remember earlier when I said they were separated from their parents? I can hear criticism already, but won't the parents just come back to say hi once in a while, or maybe if the kids visit every summer? Well, you would think so, but that would be a no, because the Jedi tried to keep the young as far away from their parents as possible, so that no attachments form. Honestly, I think that's just cruel, and just violating all rights to a child and their parents. I could rant about that particular one all day, but this video needs to be short so you guys actually watch it. On to the next one. Now to my favorite one, war crimes. You see, the Jedi commit several war crimes that are really big no-nos in war, such as false flag, torture, unnecessary killing, killing fleeing enemies, killing surrendering enemies, false surrendering, and compelling enemies against their will. All of these are really, really bad to do in war, and if the Jedi Order had existed in real life, they would likely have been dissolved. You might be thinking, wait, no, the Jedi never used slavery, and I'm sorry, but they did, although it was all at one particularly desperate time. You see, in the outbreak of the Clone Wars, there was no Grand Army of the Republic, so the Republic decided to buy the clones from the Kaminoans and use them as slaves to fight for them. I mean, the clones have no pay, little leave, if at all, and they cannot have relationships with anyone outside the Grand Army of the Republic. They were forced to fight until they die. Now, while the Jedi Order constantly says they do not want any power whatsoever, it seems they actually want it. I mean, they don't want to inform the Senate of the Galactic Republic that their ability to use the Force has diminished, because the Senate might turn against them and take away their power. This is a twist of irony to me, because they are trying to stop others like the Sith from gaining power, and yet they wanted to keep their power so much as well. This might surprise you, but the Jedi display a very, very dangerous form of tyranny. You see, the governmental system of the Jedi Order is that there is a High Council that can elect its own representatives. Now, this might not sound terrible, but according to James Madison, the accumulation of all powers in the same hands, whether of one, a few, or many, may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny. And this is what we see in the Jedi Council. They have the power to elect their own representatives, choose who can be in the Order and who cannot. They judge the actions of their own members and can decide what is in the code and what is not. This completely follows tyranny and what it actually is. Not only does this mean the council will pick representatives that follow what they want, which means that they do not allow any new ideas in their order, it means that tyranny exists as their governing system. And this, my friends, is my final con for what the Jedi Order is. Now remember, the purpose of these videos is not to judge a particular faction, but to simply give you an informed view of what every faction actually is. If you think compassion, providing education, and giving food to the poor beats war crimes, tyranny, and slavery, you think the Jedi are good. If you think war crimes, tyranny, and slavery beats compassion, providing education, and giving food to the poor, you think the Jedi are evil. Or hey, maybe you're like me, and you think no faction is evil or good, just the different people inside of it. But no matter what you think, this is the truth and how the world of the Jedi really is. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.